Hey, it's Friday night, so you know what that means. All-Star Coaching by Kyle, my coach's corner. And as is typically the case, I try to take something that I think is timely or something that's happened to me in the course of the week. So, with a couple of my coaching clients, one prevailing theme that came through loud and clear was talking about changes. So, many of my coaching clients within the first part of January naturally are geared toward making changes in their life as it relates to things that they would like to achieve. So, by virtue of that, we split it down into sectors: life, home, just in general, and how their mindset is wrapped around that. But more oftentimes than not, what I have come to find is that people resist change because it requires something that they feel like they're not equipped to handle. So, that having been said, when you think about all the things that you want to achieve this year and you think, I don't like change, recognize that in order for you to achieve those things, change has to come about. And change is imminent for all of us. And more oftentimes than not, as we look back in retrospect, we do find that change, as a result of having come our way, whether we took it begrudgingly or embraced it with everything that we had, or we looked at it and thought, oh, I just want to freeze, I don't want to go anywhere. On the other side of that, we found ourselves to be a better person, a better us, a better life, a better way of thinking. Fundamentally, there had been a shift, and all in going towards something that was better than when we had started. And a lot of things happen, I recognize, guys, that we can't understand. A cancer diagnosis in August of 2018 was nothing that I signed up for. But I know that change, and I still consider that my second greatest blessing after my little girl. I will tell you that I could have gone in one of three directions, because that's what we do when change occurs. We either go fight, we go flight, or we freeze. So as you're looking back and your challenge as it relates to changes within the course of your life, as you think about changes that were very integral to who you are today, your challenge that I set before you is, how did you handle that challenge? And it might have taken you to places you never thought possible, or thinking that you never thought possible. But how did you handle that? How would you have handled that differently in looking back, and maybe having gone through that process and recognizing that being in the process of change is as important, if not paramount, to how you come out on the other side of that change? Give that a second for just a minute to let that sink in. It's not about the change. It's about how you handle the change. Are you fight? Are you flight? Or are you freeze? And as you go through your life, recognize that in order for you to achieve things that you would like to achieve, that requires change. So I take it a step further with regard to the resolutions. I think by and large, the reason people don't achieve their New Year's resolutions is because they don't like change. They're comfortable and they feel like, why don't I just stay where I am? So I always go back to one of my favorite quotes, and Alan and Kathy Harry out there in South Carolina always get me thinking about boats. But to paraphrase it, it goes as follows. Boats are safe in the harbor, but that's not what they're meant to do. They're meant to be out on the water. So if you were to take a boat for the sake of just saying, I'm not going to do anything, I'm just going to let this happen, and not be a willing participant in how that change occurs and what that means to your life, well, think again. Because if in fact you go with an attitude of, I'm going to embrace that, I'm going to experience this, I'm going to come out on the other side knowing full well what I was capable of through the change and who I am now as a result of it, you'll be better off. And if you were to put a boat out in the middle of the lake, you and I both know, no matter how quiet that lake is, it's going to make its way across and it will be in a completely different position. Which takes me to my next instance, or my next thought, that was another piece that happened in my coaching sessions this week. And that was about making decisions. 3 of my clients told me, I am horrible at making decisions, Kyle, so I just don't make decisions. Understand this. By not making a decision, you've made a decision. I have made a decision not to make a decision. So you're capable of making decisions, but you need to know that by taking a hold of a decision, you put in place things that happen to you and are proactive. You're proactive, and opportunities come in. You're not paralyzed by not having made that decision. But for those of you, my sweet friends who are out there who think I'm going to play it safe and not make a decision, you've made a decision by not making a decision. So challenge for you for the week will be as follows. Make sure that you think back to a change that occurred in your life that, had you had the opportunity to go back and maybe experience it a little bit differently, you would have. And how would you have done that? and use that and be mindful of it moving forward. Remember, change is about fight, flight, or freeze. Which one are you? That will help you moving forward. And change is imminent. Change is going to happen. Remember, boats are safe in the harbor, but that's not what they're meant to do, and neither are you. And lastly, in terms of making decisions, for those of my friends and folks that I know that are out there that are saying, Kyle, I hate making decisions. I don't want to make a decision. Don't paralyze yourself with not making a decision. By making a decision, you have opportunities that present themselves. And yes, they can be good or bad, but you have the capability and capacity to deal with them. Know that moving forward. But by not making a decision, you've made a decision to not make a decision, okay? And also recognize on your New Year's resolutions, all of those things that you're looking at to do require change. So you've got the capability and capacity, again, to do just that. All right, guys, that's it for me for tonight. But in the meantime, I want you to go out and make it a wonderful weekend. It's very cold outside, and I intend to enjoy every bit of this weekend as well. I will look forward to seeing you next Friday. I've included my email address, so in the event that you would like to sit down, I am taking new clients for the new year, and I would love to be able to sit down and talk to you about how I can help you have an impactful business, life, and mindset, and cheer you along each and every step of the way. But remember those things, remember our challenge, and also, like I said, go out and make it a wonderful weekend. Embrace that change and know full well that you have the capability and capacity to handle whatever comes your way. Just know that, okay? Have a great week. I'll see you next week, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye.